Guys, well, last night Australia lost to Sri Lanka in the 2020 competition there, and after losing to the tourists, well, there's still no doubt that 2020 international cricket is growing in popularity, and the cricketing punters, you'd have to say, across the globe have also taken to the new form with real gusto. Last Man Stands, an international T20 amateur cricket tournament, is an example of this emerging phenomenon, from sponsoring a Kenyan Maasai cricket team to play at Lords in London this year, to setting up leagues in South African townships and raising money for disabled people back here in Australia. LMS is focused on using cricket to help those less advantaged. Now, to talk all about this is the organisation's Australian manager, Rob Stevenson. Rob, thanks for your time.
Oh, Sasha. Thanks.
Tell us what it's all about.
Basically, we set up Last Man Stands in London back in 2005. There was a lot of us that were involved in cricket, and we saw the opportunity for a new version of the game where it increased the participation of all levels, all the players at all levels. 8-a-side cricket instead of 11-a-side cricket. Just adopted 5 ball overs instead of 6 ball overs, bowling 10 overs from each end. It was around the same time that 2020 cricket was beginning to come to the fore in England. And we just looked at this, and a lot of us, or a lot of the guys that set it up, were working with banking and didn't have enough time, but we'd all played so much cricket before that it just seemed like an ideal opportunity to carry on involvement in the game, really.
Now, tell us about the Maasai Warriors and other African teams that you guys are involved with. I understand that you want to send a team to Lords.
Yeah, that's right. We all have a lot of passion for Africa in general and cricket there. We've got quite a few of us working with the comp, South Africans, not myself though, obviously. And basically we came across these guys, the Maasai Cricket Warriors, a few years back, just through, you know, reading about them on some cricket news, and it's an amazing story, really. It was a lady from South Africa who went up to Kenya and was doing anti-HIV awareness work there with in a rural community up in northern Kenya, and she was so passionate about cricket, this lady, Aliyah Bauer, so she just decided to teach the local village how to play cricket, and they just took to it like ducks on water, you know, they loved it. And anyway, from there we managed to help them out with going to a training camp down in Mombasa, one of the big Kenyan cities, so they learnt to play a bit better there. And then we had a World Championships last year in Cape Town, which all our teams, or our best teams, all flew into Cape Town for. And we managed to get enough sponsorship from all the guys in the comp and a few other sources to fly down all this Maasai team who, you know, they'd never been on a plane before. Got them down to Cape Town, and they had a week in Cape Town playing cricket against all these other guys from around the world, from Yorkshire, from New Zealand, from like all over South Africa and Australia. It was pretty epic. So the next stage is this year we have our World Championships just after the Ashes in Lords in London, but using Lords as one of the venues. So we're now just trying to get enough sponsorship to get those guys over to play at Lords, which would just be truly spectacular, to be honest. And
just briefly, what other charities are involved?
Well, there's another one to do with, on a more South African basis, is this township effort that you mentioned. Basically, I mean, all the townships in South Africa are so massively impoverished, but there's a hell of a lot of good sports players around those townships. So we're trying to run games in a little tournament to get a team from the townships to go to Lords, because at the moment we've got a lot of very good South African players in the competition, but you know, the way that things are in South Africa, obviously a lot of our players are from the higher echelons of society there, so it's great to have more of the kind of local player base getting involved in the comp. And here on Australia, on a more local basis here, we're involved with a big charity called the Primary Club, and they do great work here. They help get disabled people involved in sport, help provide facilities for disabled people, blind people, all kinds of disabled people. And they've just had an event on Thursday and Friday at the SCG here, which is an annual event that they've started doing called the Marathon Cricket. So it's an opportunity for guys to just get out on the SCG for 2 days, play short format games. So we were involved in that, helping out with volunteers, but also we had a game on there, and it was just a spectacular opportunity for our guys, but also for disabled guys to get out on the SCG and, you know, play on the same turf that Steve Waugh hit his 4 to get that century that day. You know, it's a childhood dream for everyone, really.
So just tell me briefly, in wrapping up, what sort of feeling do you get when you look at their faces and the reactions? Make you feel warm?
Oh, absolutely. It's great. I mean, playing against blind cricketers is, I mean, obviously a real eye-opener, but it's really just, it's spectacular, and you meet guys that you wouldn't meet outside of that context at all. So for the guys involved in our comp, who are just regular punters out there, just trying to have a 20-20 hit and just with their mates, for them to get opportunities like that is just spectacular, really.
It sure is. Rob Stevenson, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and good on you for getting involved with a good cause that uses sport as a vehicle to help people.
Cool. Thanks, Asher.